Hello, I'm Michelle Carlson, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Eagan, Minnesota, and I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're new or have been watching my videos for a while, thank you for spending some creative time with me. Each month, I share fun card-making projects using current Stampin' Up! Products to spark your creativity. I keep things simple and flexible so you can easily recreate these projects with supplies you already have. Let's get started. This month, I'm featuring the Balloon Festoon stamp set and dies and the 2026 to 2028 in color DSP that are featured in the May through August catalog. The Balloon Festoon stamp set is perfect for birthdays or any celebration. It has 12 stamps, and I love the scripty font with the traditional lettering. And to make sure, then I also like these background stamps that you could use for the 4th of July or New Year's. You have some dots or other dots to put on your balloons or use as a background. And I like the curlicue decoration also. The Balloon Festoon die set has 11 dies. 7 are balloons that are great for layering. And the largest of those dies, of the balloon dies, is 4 and 3/16 by 5 and 3/4. So it's bigger than your standard card, just to let you know. Also, these would make great for standalone cards, scrapbooking, and used for banners. There are some other extra dies, such as highlights for the balloons, and then strings that you can attach on for the balloons. The 2026-2028 In Color Designer Series paper comes in 12 by 12 and received 10 double-sided sheets, 2 of each. One sheet has small dots and the other side has large dots, and then the other sheet comes with small stripes and then large stripes. The colors that are in this paper are Barely Blush, Crisp Cantaloupe, Golden Glow, Hydrangea Hue, and Peaceful Pine. The card I'm going to make for you today is a multi-fold card. This is a fun wow card, and it's using the balloon dies. So when you open it up, you think you're just going to open up like this, but here has other layers. So it's kind of fun and a little bit different. So let's create the project. So I'm bringing out these dies so you know kind of what size I cut out the balloons. I numbered them from smallest to largest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this is 7. We're only going to go up to 6 because that's what fits in a standard envelope. Number 6 or 7 you can use as a banner or create your own envelope if you want a larger card. So with the Hydrangea Hue, I started with a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of cardstock, and you want to cut out 6 of them because you're going to cut out 6 number 5 balloon with a balloon die. Okay, number 6 there. With the Designer Series paper, you're going to start with 4 1/2 by 3 1/2 and die cut out with the number 5 balloon, so just the next one smaller. Also, you want to cut out another one in basic white because this is where you're going to have your sentiment, and then you can sign it at the end, at the last balloon. Then this balloon is number 3 die, and that's just for decoration for the inside. And then I used the pearlized specialty paper in Hydrangea Hue and cut it out with the number 1 die. So you need 2 of those. And then I just thought this label was cool for a party, but this happens to come from the Paradise Garden dies. The first thing I'm going to do is just take 2 of the cardstock balloons and put them toward each other, face to face, because you want the nice size to be showing in your card. Then you'll take one of the 2x2 cardstock pieces and fold it in half. And you're going to glue on the inside, on the left side of the balloon, just like this. Okay, so you'll glue, I'll show you this one. So you glue on one side. Oop, there we go. And just make sure that they're together and, you know, as straight as possible, okay? It's a little bit difficult on a circular type pattern. And it's okay if it's sticking out because we're going to cut those off. And so we're putting that on there, and then do the same thing on this other side. Put some glue on there, and oops, make sure it's lined up. And just press that down, okay? So that's, you could even make a single card, but to make a single card, I would put this on top of it and this behind it. So you'd have 4 instead of 6. Cut this off so you don't see it, but you won't see that's covering up those that piece of paper, okay? So that's why you want to do 4, so it's not showing as much. So we'll be doing that at the end after we do another layer. So this one, we're going to put like back to, so this is the back of this piece, this is the back of this other piece, so you want the front to show. Now I was trying to glue it on the inside so it wouldn't show, but then this wouldn't open up properly because of the roundness. So we'll have to put it on the front. Okay, let's put it on the right side instead of inside. Put it on the right side on the outside. So let me show you how to do that. Let's fold this in, or fold it maybe this way. So it's going to show a little bit, but it shouldn't be, you know, too distracting, because we'll be covering it up with the designer series paper. So we're just making it as evenly as possible with the other, and we'll just put glue on both of this, on both sides. And I could have done that before with the other one, but I just wanted to, so make sure this is all lined up properly. And it's kind of nice with this balloon, or with that bottom piece. Okay, so, and then just put it over those two. Yep, because we want it on this side. Okay. And don't worry, we'll be again cutting off the corners. Okay, so now you have this piece like that. The next thing you want to do is put this on the, like, so you have, so this is the front, so you want to do front to front like this. And I can tell it's the front because of how the die, you have the little crease of the die. So I want front and front, and then take your last piece and glue it on the left side, okay? Make sure it's all lined up properly. Let's do that with this. And make sure your balloon is even. And you can do this with any shape, you know, die, because there's a lot of them that have a lot of layers on them. Like I'll show you one with the boutique blooms, but that I wouldn't do multiple because of all the bumps. But then I'll show you one with the arch dies that you can do this a lot. It's a lot easier than this one. So, because it's more square, and I'll show you that afterwards. So anyways, so we have our kind of our mechanism of, and you can keep going for as long as you want, right? But I figured this is long enough. Sometimes if you get too thick, you won't go, and I think might be a little bit too thick. That's why I don't have a lot of bling and dimensionals on this, because it's already thick enough that you can't use a regular postage. You either have to hand deliver it or use a non-machinable stamp on this, just to let you know. So just keep that in mind of how thick or how many layers you want for your card. So this one we're just going to glue down as is to hide that part, okay? Just putting that there. So lining everything up, and it's okay if it's not lined up perfectly. We're just kind of getting the gist of it there, but as best as you can, right? So that's the front, and then on the back we'll turn over to hide this part, and you'll put the front side on the back just to have a nice finished project. And some of you, I'm sure, like to stamp, created, with love or something like that on the back. This will it'll be a nice back for you to do that. Okay. So we'll just let that sit a minute. I'm just, making sure the glue is all, is all set. Okay, so then what we're going to do is take our scissors. And I'm just doing the last two. And you're just going to round it a little bit just to cut off those corners, okay? Because we don't want to do the whole thing, because otherwise then it won't have anything to hold on to, because this is what's holding these two balloons together, right? Okay. So then we're just cutting it off here. This one I might have gotten too much, so you want to try getting it in as much as possible so that you have as much holding on. So like here I didn't get hold as much because I didn't get this part down enough, right? Because it should only be a little bit. So that's my bad of not doing that properly. So, and then this one, like I said, you want as much here as possible, but you don't want it to be showing too much in your balloon, right? You want it to be part of the balloon. And if you want to cut off more, that's up to you, or to round it out a little bit more. All right, good enough. So what I'm going to do for this one is kind of repair it. So I have an extra 2x2x1, and I'm just going to cut this in half, okay? And kind of redo this again. Hopefully it'll cover up my mistake. We'll see how it works. Okay, so I didn't get this on there like I should. So we just want to make sure that this is down as much as possible. I don't know what the problem is why it can't go down. So maybe just kind of cut it around like with the balloon shape. Okay. Remember, people aren't going to see that. Hopefully. Now I have this issue with that. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to have the same. Darn. Okay, well so one thing you can do is maybe just cut it more straight. Okay? Because you'll have the roundness after it. good enough. So I'm going to glue this back on again. I'm just showing you this so in case this happens to you, you know how to fix it without doing everything all over again, right? Okay, so I just want to make sure, and some of this will, designer series paper will be covering this up here, so don't worry about that so much, but just try and get it so that you only have a little bit of corners sticking out. And same with this, it will be designer series paper. Well, not on all of it. Why did it move? Okay, let's see here. Okay, there. Try to cover it as much as possible. Okay. All right, so that should do it. Now I only have to take a little bit off. Off of there and off of there. So then I have a little bit more fold to hold on to that balloon. The next thing we're going to do is glue the designer series paper onto our balloon. Now you could probably just cut it off if you want to and just have it as a circle, but I kind of like the little, end of the balloon. So we're just going to glue this on the first 4. So 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Oh, what? No. Oh, here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So front and back. So I'm not going to have you watch me do that. So we'll put that on here, then one on the back, one, and then these 2 in the center. Okay. And like I said, well, the designer series paper covered up most of that. So anyways, don't do what I did. So the next thing we're going to do is do some stamping. I'm using Hydrangea Hue ink. So this is kind of like a monochromatic card. The other one I did was in Crisp Cantaloupe. And you want to stamp closer to the right side of the banner. Because we're going to put the balloon on the left side. Okay, so I got happy birthday there. With this one, this is just a decoration, so I'm going to say hip, hip, hooray. I'm going to just kind of make it diagonal just for fun. Also to have room for the second balloon. Okay, and then this one is Let's Celebrate. I'll try to get this as centered as possible, but maybe toward the top. Okay. So let's bring this back in, and we're going to glue this here on your last piece. Okay. Just like so. And then we're going to skip this one and go to here, and we can glue this one down. Kind of in the center with one of these balloons. And we're just gluing it down. We don't want too much bulk, we have enough. And then I just kind of off-center it there, okay? And then for the front, so we have this, right? This is our front piece. Oops, here, it's stuck. Our front is stuck. Or no, just like that. Okay, so this is our front piece. We're going to Glue this down just like so. I think I probably used glue dots before, but liquid glue is fine. Just don't want to get too much, but we can probably easier to, you know, maneuver until it dries. Okay, so we're going to have it go across. We're going to put dimensionals on the back of this. So 3 should do it, 1 on each side and then in the middle. Okay. Then I kind of like it to hide my outside here a little bit. And the last thing we're going to do is take some white twine and create a bow, which I already did. So I wouldn't waste time on doing that, but here I'm going to use a glue dot. So I'm going to take my, take your pick tool and you just put this in a ball because it's small. And I'm going to put it on the back of my twine and set it here on the balloon. So that's kind of like my embellishment is the twine. Okay, which way are you going to go? Okay. All right, there we are. So just like that. So you have a nice card that's multi-layer. Here are the 2 balloons, and the next one I'm going to show you is the one with the arch dies, so you can see how that looks. However, please take note that I got this too close together, so if you put this on the back versus the front, just make sure that you leave some space because it just doesn't open up all the way because it's yeah, it's kind of hindering itself. So that's the only advice I would give you on that. And then the other one is with the boutique blooms and dies. And this one just is a regular card because I was going to make it a multi-layer, but the same thing happened with the 2, you know, not giving enough room for this to open up on, you know, doing it the other way. So this just became a regular card, but it's still cute. Now, please note when you cut, this is really delicate because you only have, you know, little spaces of paper holding this together. So this is a little bit more delicate card. You can find all the measurements and the full product list on my website at michellesstamping.com. Just click on card videos and then choose 2026 cards from the drop-down menu. If you enjoyed this project, I'd love a thumbs up or a comment below. It truly makes my day to hear from you. And if you make a card using this project, please feel free to share it in the comments under this video. I'd love to see your creations and learn which stamp set and paper you used. I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and help you with all your paper crafting needs. If you'd like a paper copy of the catalog and or want to receive my newsletter, feel free to email me at michellesstamping@gmail.com. For your convenience, all these links are listed below the video. Be sure to click on the subscribe button, it's free, on my YouTube channel, so you'll be notified whenever I share a new video. I'd love for you to craft along with me. Thank you for watching and happy stamping!